She is one of India's most iconic actors and artists, and now she's here to tell us about the downside to fame, quite literally. I'm Barkha Dutt here with the Mojo story, and we're talking about Madhuri Dixit. Madhuri Dixit has had a career spanning a decades, and as I said, she is perhaps one of the sort of cultural legends, as it were, of our time. But now, Madhuri Dixit is coming to a screen near you in an all new avatar with a brand new series, which of course is centered around a fictional character who goes entirely missing, leading to a series of secrets tumbling out. In what could be called a sort of meta take on reality, we'll be talking to Madhuri in a moment from now, not just about her new series, The Fame Game, but also about what fame has meant to her and what happens when not just the person who's famous goes missing, but fame itself goes missing. Madhuri has had a very, very unusual trajectory, showing the gumption to walk out and away at the height of her career, only to return on her own terms. Madhuri, it's great to see you after so long. And, as I said, for so many of us, you're a legend. It's just lovely to see you. Let me start by asking you whether you thought 20 years ago, before we come to your new series, whether you thought 20 years ago that this is where your life would be. How much of your own life is a surprise to you? How much of your own life is planned? How much of it is unplanned?
So, hi, Barkha. It's wonderful to see you again. I don't know. I've never really planned my life as such. I think I have always been very spontaneous. When I started working, I never thought I'd be an actress one day. And it happened. It happened very organically because I did my first film, Abodh. And until I did the film, I didn't know that this is what I want to do in my life. And so I did Abodh, and the acting bug like got me, and I wanted to do this as a full time profession, and I did. And then I had my first hit, Tezaab, and then I just did one film after another. I was so busy that I had no life outside work. It was just from one studio to another. And then I met this wonderful person, Ram, and I decided that he's the one for me. I got married. I went to Denver, and I had two kids, beautiful kids. I thoroughly enjoyed my time there. And then I thought that I want to work again, so I came back, and not just to work, but also for the kids, to experience what living in India is like, what life back where I come from is, And so we came back. My parents were old by then, and they also wanted to go back, and come to India again. And so we brought them here, and I started working again. And so nothing has been really like pre-planned, and it was more spontaneous. And I like it that way. I like a little spontaneity in life, and I'm blessed. I think I'm very blessed that I've had a good career. I have a wonderful family, lovely kids, um, and that's it.
Let me start by asking you to talk a little bit about your new series. You make your life and your life choices sound so simple. You're like, oh, I went away, I met this man of my dreams, I got married, I had two kids, and here I am back. And we'll get into all of that in a moment from now. But talk a little bit about the new series. I read your Instagram post which said that you'd often heard that fame goes missing, but never that the person who's famous goes missing. So what made
Yes.
you pick up? What made you pick up this script?
Well, Sri Rao and me were going to work on a different project before this, and it didn't kind of pan out. But he came to me with the script, and he said it's about. He just told me it in one line, saying that it's like a mystery thriller come a family drama, where there's this very famous actress who's like an icon, and one day suddenly she disappears, and nobody knows where she is, what happened to her, and then from where is Anamika, it becomes who is Anamika, and what is her life like. So it's like the bad side of fame when you take a look behind the curtain, and you see that the perfectly crafted life that she had, where everybody thought that she was so she's gorgeous, she's perfect, nothing can go wrong with her life, and how everything, all her secrets kind of tumble out, and what happens. So I thought it was fascinating because can you imagine like a very famous person suddenly just vanishes one day. One fine morning she's just gone, and it's amazing. And I thought it'd be great, and then Netflix approved of it, and I've worked with Netflix before. My first film, Marathi film, 15 August, I had sold to Netflix. I worked with them on Mowgli, where I did Nisha, the voice of the mother. And so I thought it would be a great fit, because of our past experiences, and of course Dharmatic was going to produce it, and so everything just kind of fell into place. And I thought it'd be great. Also, we have a great ensemble of wonderful actors, whether the ones who play my kids, or the Sanjay, Manav, everyone. I mean, I thought it would be a wonderful project to do. Also, the character, I mean, my character in the movie is fabulous. There's so many layers to her. She's seemingly like um very gregarious, and smiling all the time and everything, but there's so many layers, so much that is happening in her life behind the scenes.
It sounds fascinating, but let me ask you this. What are the layers to Madhuri Dixit that we don't get to know about? Because, I often wonder about the life of actors, because the lines between reality and fiction blur. You managed to keep yourself grounded by, in a way, stepping back from it all when you got married and you went away to be with your doctor husband, in the United States of America. Take us back to that time. Were there people who told you, Madhuri, don't do this, you'll never get your fame back? Once fame goes, it never comes back. And was it difficult in the beginning to live without being in the spotlight? I know you made it sound so simple, but there must have been some tough months, some adjusting required.
Well, a lot of people tell you, don't do this, don't do that. Like when I was doing commercial films, I did a film called Mrityudand, which I thought was a very beautiful film, on women empowerment and everything. And then everybody was like, no, no, you should not do this movie because you're a commercial actress. And I said, no, I want to do it. So I did it. And because I wanted to do it, and I felt it was a great thing to do. So everything in life I've done because I wanted to do it. It's not because it's going to cause this, that, and the other. I never thought about those things, because for me, I don't look at myself as a star or something larger than life. I just think I'm in a profession where I'm a good actress. I love to play these different roles, and because of that, I get fans and adulation, and people adore me. But being an actress doesn't define me. I'm other things too. Like I want to be a wife, I want to be a mother, I'm a daughter, and and those are the things that are the layers to me. And my art, I mean, my art also has a lot of layers. I love to dance, I love to sing, I love to do so many things. I love to learn something new every day. In the morning I get up and say, what will I learn today? What will I pick up from life and say, hey, that was a lesson I got today. Like, I am learning to play tennis because I never got not good, never got a chance to actually learn it. I love tennis. I love watching, Federer or the others play, but I never got a chance to learn. So now I'm learning how to play tennis. So it's like I can do whatever I want to do. So it's I mean, that's the way I've always lived my life.
But I'm struck by the fact that you said being an actor doesn't define you. You're someone who's always chasing a sort of multiple pursuits. Was the going away and stepping back tougher, or was the coming back tougher? And what I want to ask you is, how has the industry changed for a female star, a superstar like yourselves, from your first phase being rooted in out of Mumbai and your second phase? Because a lot has changed, the kind of scripts that women get, the kind of risks that movie makers are willing to take. Of course, you did a number of sort of, Tezaab onwards, female centric roles. So many of your movies were, in fact, strong women characters, sort of, leading and fighting from the front. But even so, this must be a very different industry that you've returned to.
Well, yeah. I mean, when I had started working, it was a very male-dominated, profession where everything was about the heroes, and I was very fortunate that I got to work with wonderful directors, and I got roles that were very, very good, like Beta, or a Dil, or a Raja, or countless number of films that I've done, a Khalnayak, or I'm sorry, Mrityu Dand, Lajja. There's so many roles I could portray. Devdas, which I did after marriage, or Aja Nachle. So I think I was very fortunate that I could do all that. And Barkha, really, I never thought of it as walking away from my profession, or saying, okay, now I'm going to give up films. And I never had thought of that. It was just that I married. I found the one person who I had always imagined in my life. And I got married, and I lived a dream there too, because that was a big part of my dream, to have a family, to have kids, to have a husband, to, live in that, thing. And when I came back because Aja Nachle happened, and Adi came
Mhm.
there, and he said, "Oh, you have to do this film. I have a lovely project for you. I want to come and narrate it to you." And he came, he narrated it to me. I came here, I did Aja Nachle, after which I did Devdas, and then I was doing the reality show. So because I never had that in my mind that once you marry, the fame is gone. And I never believed in all that. I really didn't believe in it. And I knew that if you have confidence in yourself, you can do whatever you want, in life. And always believed in myself in that sense.
A number of successful, ambitious, creative women are sometimes told, and Indra Nui, the chairperson of PepsiCo, has this line in her book: "Women
Yeah.
can't have it. Women can't have it all." You, Madhuri, are basically saying you do have it all.
Well, the thing is, I have very supportive people around me. I have to say that, because I have great support from my husband. My kids are so supportive of what I do. I have my in-laws, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my mom, my dad. They all rallied around me to help me out if I ever needed any help. When I used to come and do jhalak here, my mother-in-law used to come down and take care of my kids. And she used to say, "Don't worry about anything. We are there." So because I have all that support, I can do what I want to. And in that sense, I've been extremely lucky. And I wish that every woman, gets that kind of support from a family, especially a woman who's really wanting to go out there and do something spectacular, something really good, or even just little dreams, that she wants to live out.
But let's talk a little bit more about how the industry has changed. You said it was very male dominated in
Oh,
the,
yes. And
yeah,
yeah, that's what I was talking about.
yeah.
And initially, when I used to walk on a set, the only women on the set used to be me, my co stars, and the hairdressers. That's it. Nobody else was female anywhere in any other department. And now when I walk onto a set, it's like the AD is a woman. I have directors who are women. I'm working with one, Karishma Kohli, for the Fame Game. Behind the scenes, in the camera, I have worked in Total Dhamal with Kiko, who's a woman, who's a cameraman. So there are women in every department now. Even the makeup artists are women. It used to be only male, only males can do makeup. But today, there are women in every field, in every field, which is behind the camera, in front of the camera. And I'm so glad that, every time I walk in, I'm so pleased and I'm happy. Also, the films, the kind of films being made.
Yeah.
First, women oriented films used to be about revenge, that there's a victim who's going to take revenge, or she's a victim throughout the movie, and then in the end, she takes a stand. But not anymore. Women are not just, labeled as that. Women oriented films are about women who are in sports, about a woman who's a mathematician, about women who helped to put the Mangalayan, in orbit, or so they're women being treated as characters. They are people who are contributing towards society and doing something in their own professional lives which is different from other women. And there are stories about housewives who have a little dream, who want to be entrepreneurs, and how they, have come forward. So I think now is the best time for women to be in cinema. With Fame Game, I will say that OTT has given people a chance to see movies that are made from the heart. They have no commercial constraints about making a hit commercial film, which the theaters always, there's a lot of pressure that you have to make a hit film, and then you have to add those ingredients to make the hit film. But on OTT, I think you can tell stories the way you want to tell them. You
Yeah.
can picturize them the way you want. The whole language can be what you want it to be. And so I think that kind of universe being created is wonderful. And I really thoroughly enjoyed working on the Fame game because it tells a beautiful story. And also because of OTT, our films are being seen in so many different countries, and because of the dubbing, the subtitling, your culture is being taken to so many different cultures. They get to see how you live or what's happening here. The kind of cinematic liberties you can take, where artistry is concerned, is
Yeah.
wonderful. When you do it for OTT, you can say it. And today, even in India, there's so many people watching like Spanish movies, or Korean dramas, or so you are exposed to so many cultures, and which is amazing, to think about it that way. And that's why I even started Dance with Madhuri, which is an edutech for dance. And we are in so many different countries, and we are giving them knowledge of dance and how to do it. And at some point they can learn from it and become something in their own lives.
Yeah, I want to talk about the many avatars of Madhuri, from this, dance tech venture to your pursuit of music to your learning tennis. But coming back to the Fame game, if I
Yes.
were to ask you, what does fame mean to you in your actual life, and how do you not let it corrode you? Because fame is addictive, fame is heady, fame is toxic, fame is wonderful, fame is all of these things, and I'm sure your new series delves into that downside. But for you personally, what does fame mean to you, and what has been the toughest part of being a famous person?
Well, fame to me is like a byproduct of what I do. It's a byproduct because I'm good at what I do. Um, eh, and I have been very particular that every time I'm come on screen, I have to do something different. I have to give something more than what I did in my last character. And I try to be the best in front of the camera. I try to do my best, and whatever comes out of that is fame, for me. So it's a byproduct. I mean, it's not the ruling thing. What rules my head is that I have to do well every time I do something. I have to do it to the best of my abilities. And that's what I always aim for. And if that brings me fame, then it's something that it brings me. But what is the crux of the basic thing of who I am is my art, and that's very important to me. So when the fame comes, it's a big responsibility that you know you have to carry it well. You have to make sure that you are doing your best every time.
But can it leave you feeling lonely or anxious? You see all of these great movies about famous people who end up being very lonely. There's a sort of
No,
whole
i
Sunset
think i
Boulevard
think when
dimension to famous people's lives.
right, I think when fame becomes too important for you, then that is the trouble. Like Anamika Anand's character in the movie, for her, fame is that means a lot to her. That's why it's the fame game. She wants to be there, out there always, and she always makes sure that she has to be on the top of a game. And if it is sacrificing a few things here and there, she'll do it. She wants to hold on to it and just be there. So I think in that process, how her life just goes topsy turvy, and she just realizes that she's all alone, finally. And so I think it's how you treat fame. I don't know if that makes sense. Is how fame is going to treat you.
No, it does make sense. It's just that sometimes it's not so simple. And I
I think
just
I
want to,
also am
yeah.
fortunate with my upbringing, the way my parents have brought me up. I'm a very grounded person. um, they have taught me that life and how you treat others is more important than who you are. You have to give the basic respect. Everybody should be respected, everybody should be treated equally. If you're working, that is your thing. If you're at your studio, that's your work, that's your job, and you have to do it to the best. If you're at home, you're a mother, you have to be the best mother possible. If you're a wife, you have to be the best wife possible, so and that's the way I've been brought up. And so that's how I
That
think there's
sounds,
more to life than just fame.
but to put so much pressure on yourself to be the best at everything you do, this sort of superwoman pursuit can also exhaust women. Do you sometimes feel
No,
exhausted?
no. No, I enjoy it. It's not that I'm trying to make a point or prove a point. It's just that I really enjoy being a mother. I love my kids, and I love talking to them. I'll sit and converse on different things in the world. My husband is like, he is someone who knows about everything. It's amazing. He's a doctor, but he's a very good techie. He is. So I learned so much from him as well. Like people say, "Oh, how did you live life there? Because you were so famous, and then you went and lived in Denver." And I'm like, I lived for the first time when I went to Denver, because here I just used to work all the time, but I actually lived a life there. So that's how I look at life.
At this point in your life, I know in 2020 you released a single, you're learning tennis. Are you ever daunted by the pursuit of new things? Like, what made you get professionally into music?
Well, it's something that I've always loved to do, and it's something that I wanted to do. I love to sing, and even when I sang Candle, it was about, when I initially sang it, it was about, the how you there might be like a big storm in your own life, but you have always got to be a beacon of light for everyone through your struggles, through everything. You always have to be a beacon of light, and you have to inspire others. And that's why I did the song Candle, and I released it for, and I dedicated it to the frontline workers, because during lockdown, the first lockdown that we went through, that's when I picturized it at home. My husband was operating the camera and all. We had to learn so many things to get that done, and we did. And it gives me a great sense of achievement, that we did something we didn't know about, and we did great. And so, and singing is something I always love. My mom is a classical singer, and so that's why music was always in my house, music, dance, and we basically grew up on that. So it's part of who I am. It's part of who I am.
How did or does it feel to be this famous that I remember I for many years I've covered among other things sort of problems that India and Pakistan have, and one of the light-hearted jokes between these two warring countries used to be that Madhuri Dixit had the power to solve even the India-Pakistan equation. You would have heard those jokes. You keep saying you're so grounded. Like, how does someone that famous, who's invoked in foreign policy and only half jokingly remain so grounded? How?
No, because I know that's not the answer. Because I'm aware of that, and so it keeps me grounded. It's like, yeah, it's their love, it's an admiration, but that's not the truth. That's not reality. So it's very important to know what's real and what's not, and just not let it go to your head, and it just comes naturally to me. I don't think I make an effort for that.
Okay, I have a couple of minutes left with you. Let me ask you this. You say the industry, the set has transformed. You see many more women. You're being directed in Fame Game by a woman. And, I'm glad you brought up makeup artists, because I remember reporting a piece on how women makeup artists in the film industry have really struggled to get equality. What
Yes.
about what about stars like yourself? So many super women I talk to say it's still not completely equal. It's not equal in terms of equal
See,
pay
I
for
think
equal work.
change doesn't come all of a sudden, right? Change always, you have to chip away at the wall, one brick at a time, slowly. And change will happen, but unless we don't start conversations about it, unless we don't take baby steps towards it, it's never going to happen, right? So now I think the steps are there, baby step. Everybody's talking about it. It's a conversation. It's there in the ether, and I think the change will be a little slow, but it'll happen.
How do you finally, going back to Fame Game, there's, waiting eagerly for this, for Fame Game to release, but how do you know who's real and who's fake in your life? One of the things about fame is so many people want to know you just because you're famous. Who are the real people in your life outside of your family, of course? How do you know when
Well,
someone's
yeah,
real?
there are very real people in my life, and when I don't know if other actors have the same thing, but when I meet a person, I don't know, I can kind of read their faces and kind of from gestures and all you can make out. And sometimes, of course, you may trust someone, and it might happen that that was the only agenda. But it's okay, it's life. It's life. You can't be always right about things. You can't always be on the top of everything. Sometimes you might make mistakes, you might fall down, but the point is, you cannot be scarred for life. You cannot say, oh, this happened to me, now I can't trust anyone. No, I mean, you have to live life. You have to be here, you know here and now, and in the present. And you have to pick yourself, dust yourself up, like they say, and start all over again.
What is Madhuri's unfinished dream? Because you said you have a new passion. Maybe every few years. What other than tennis? What is your unfinished dream? Something you really want to do but you haven't yet.
I don't know, a lot of things, but more on the social, level. Like, I've been working with UNICEF, and I've been, associated with a few, like Mamta Kanchal and, Ma, and working for women and children. That's something that's also on my horizon. I want to do something more, something, for women and children, and so that's something that I'm really looking forward to. And of course, I want to see my kids grow up, and now one guy is in college and the other is getting there. So supporting them, being there for them. So that's what I'm looking forward to now. Also, I think the Fame game, which is going to be my next release very soon on 25th, so I'm looking forward to that too.
Looking forward to watching it and looking forward to you doing more and more and surprising us and keeping us enthralled as we have for so many years. Madhuri, always a pleasure. Madhuri Dixit Nene, pleasure
Thank you,
having you with
Barkha.
us. Take care. Bye
Same
bye.
here, same. Nice being
Bye.
here.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.